Shohei Ohtani, reigning supreme pitching and hitting. Again, pitched 3 games, started twice, finished it out. This from Codify on Twitter tonight. Shohei Ohtani hit a baseball 114 miles per hour, threw a baseball 101.6, ran to first 4.16. If that sounds completely insane, that's because it is. And it brings to mind, back with Carlos and Jake, this has never been done before in the history of baseball. It's old hat to us because we do baseball every single day, but to a national audience, a worldwide audience now, we should remind people, like back in the old days, you could, it happened a lot, have your shortstop be the manager. That happened a lot. Lou Boudreau did it, right? There's a Leo DeRocher. You be the shortstop and be the manager. It wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. But even with it being so sophisticated, nobody has ever done this, and he's doing it right now. That's what blows my mind. Babe Ruth, week by week, was never a great hitter and pitcher at the same time. He had 2 years where he did a little bit of both, but he was usually great at one, not great at two. It's been 2 years now where Ohtani has been able to do both at the same time in the most difficult era in which to do it, Carlos.
Indeed. I mean, and you have to understand how difficult it is. I mean, as a hitter, I know how hard it was for me to get ready to play at this level. And then I see my teammates, and you can speak to this, Jake. You guys, the pitchers, you work so hard to get really good at your craft.
He's doing what both of us did every day at the field. He's doing my work at the field every day and his work at the field. and the best player we've ever seen just about do it. You know, top tier, top 5 player on both sides of the ball. Truly remarkable.
Elite.
Yeah, what do you see then? Give me a breakdown on him.
Because we're going to break down his swing here and the way he goes about it. I mean, he had a great WBC, but let's go watch what he did. I mean, really remarkable because when it was crunch time, he came through. All right, so he has a big all smiles. He gets over there and it's all business after that. See how smooth his swing is. This is March 9th. That's a 8-1 win, and he was right in the middle of it, just driving the ball the other way, pulling the ball when he had to, just kind of spraying it all over the field. This is March 10th, 13-4 win. Again, he's in the middle of business. Just this ball right here, by the way, it was an absolute blast. People are like, oh, he's playing over there. Those are small ball fields. Blagada! That ball was like 480-foot home run. But again, that's not all he does. Look at the finesse going the other way with that pitch, line drive. He's able to sit back on off-speed pitches, wait on them, and deliver. This is the final against Mexico. Very clutch. But this is how he does it. This is an RBI single. You see how early he got his foot down? I mean, he's ready early to hit. Watch this. Starts nice and balanced. Now he's going to go ahead and put that foot down, even before the pitcher throws the ball. But you're like, oh, that's just breaking down his swing. No, he's got a little bit of movement. Look at that. He doesn't lose his rhythm, ever, right? It's like a cobra getting ready to strike. This is what happens, right? You mess with the cobra, pow, he gets you. Get into that ready position early enough. Here it is again. This is the home run, DK, right? Watch this. Balance, foot down, but he's not going to stop. He's got the little movement there, still coiling. There's the cobra again. What's going to happen? Rattlesnake, whack. Home run. Getting to that power position early enough without losing momentum and rhythm, it's a thing of beauty. And then he unleashes all that athletic ability that he has onto the baseball. So flexible, so fast, so quick. You see the two-hand finish. It's a thing of beauty.
It's truly remarkable how him getting that foot down and still holding the power that he holds. It's unbelievable. What he does, I wouldn't want to face him. As a pitcher, I can promise you, I look for hitters' weaknesses. You don't want to face Shohei Ohtani. And I promise you what you don't want to do. You don't want to get in the batter's box against him because he was just as outstanding on this side of the ball. WBC brings out the best in these athletes. You're going to see it here. We'll go to the tape, and you'll see him. He's just the same dominant self. He went across the pond, and I believe that travel, I've done it before, and you're not your exact perfect self. And in these 2 starts, he wasn't as sharp as he can be. You see there a little bit back up slider, but still getting it done. And he always, you see the next pitch, Carlos, he makes the adjustment. Perfect breaking ball there. Against John. Yeah, he just, and you see, the lefty gets in there, he just backdoors it. Then he faced Italy here in a lot of left-handed. He went fastball, split, really, this game, but both of them, 102 to 10 miles an hour, 92 miles an hour. That was my fastball, Carlos. I pitched at the major league level with that being my fastball, and you see it, here's a split. I want to show you what can happen, though, when a runner gets on first, and even the best in the league, BK, can rush and fly open. This is 4 pitches in a row. Runner at first base, right? If he makes those pitches to Mike Trout, he's in trouble. But watch, he always figures it out, and I show you right there. And watch what he did here. Runner at first base, Look, these were the biggest pitches Shohei threw all tournament long. Mookie Betts in there. He made 2 perfect pitches out of the stretch when that's not easy to do. And for me, those 2 pitches to Mookie in erasing that runner, taking the go-ahead run away from being at the plate now, allowed him to gather and make these pitches to Mike Trout. And you see here what excites me, 1-0. Get behind 2-1, here's another one. And then you get down and you see right here, he's just overthrowing and missing location. But Mike Trout did not believe this was coming, and then it was executed at this kind of level. It's unhittable, even when you're the best in the league. So Shohei, to me, was incredible, just as he's always been. But watching BK, the wherewithal to be in big moments and make some tough pitches. And we all don't have perfect mechanics, not even the best in the league. But to be cerebral enough and in those big moments to think about mechanically making the adjustment. And he had to do it. He walked McNeil. And here comes the winning run at the plate in Mookie Betts. And he gathered himself, made perfect pitches. Then you get to face Mike Trout, and he did it enough there. So incredible job, both sides of the ball.
You realize it could go a lot of different ways because, right, McNeil works the walk. Everybody's fired up. Betts, Trout coming up next.
He makes those pitches he made in that China game out of the stretch. He made 4 in a row. You know, it could have been a different ball game. That's what the best do. They realize the moment, they gather their thoughts and execute.
We did a lot on this, too, because when he's at his best, when Ohtani's at his best, Carlos, pitching, he gets a lot of called strikes, meaning he stuns guys. So it's not just he's throwing the fastball that blows you away. When you see Ohtani pitching, how would you approach or attack to try to have success?
You know, that's exactly what I wanted to get to, because I wanted to ask, like, where does he go from here? Right? How does he even get better? I think when I look at those at-bats against, that at-bat against Mike Trout was missing underneath the baseball by 6 inches. You know, it's almost as if you're going to hit his fastball, you have to swing above it because it just rides. I know your eyes are telling you swing here, but you have to get ready for more, you know, earlier than you think is reasonable. And you have to swing above the baseball more than you think is reasonable. Your eyes deceive you against a guy like Ohtani.
And then when he does that to you, he's going to start throwing that split. When you start trying to swing over the fastball, and that split looks just like the fastball. When you talk about having 3 above-average pitches, and then you have the ability to throw them to both sides of the plate, if he executes with that kind of competitive spirit, it's a long night.
All right then. You said something very, very specific. The split and also paired up with the fastball. That's excellent. As a hitter, being in between is death, right? So I'm going to ask you a hitting question because I love learning from pitchers. What does a hitter need to do, or what does Ohtani need to do to get better as a hitter? And I'll do the same backwards. You know, what do I think he needs to do as a pitcher to get better?
Well, as a hitter, he's such a complete hitter, as you showed. What I love is he seems to be game savvy in doing what the game situation calls for. When you have a player that's this talented, that can hit it 900 miles, and he's not all the time trying to do that, he's a great baseball player. And so, to me, facing him it's always game and situation oriented for him. I don't think there's one way. From a pitching standpoint, and if I were a hitter, when somebody's this dominant, you almost have to just get on one pitch. And Adrian Gonzalez was one of these guys. When you face somebody so dominant, he'd go up there and go, Kevin Brown, he's got too many things. I'm going to pick one. And when he throws it for a strike, I'm going to hammer it. And, but again, you're just seeing Mike Trout really almost looked overmatched against Shohei Ohtani, and Mike Trout is the best player we got in the league. When he executes, it's game over.
That is absolutely excellent. I would say as a pitcher, then it's pretty much along the same lines. For him to get better, elevate the fastball a little bit more and pair it with that nasty breaking ball. You know, yesterday watching that at bat, I kind of cringed a couple times when I saw the catcher go low and away. And I'm like, no, elevate the four-seamer. That's going to be tougher for Trout. So I think he could get even better as a pitcher, even though you saw what he did last season and we're like talking about how elite he was pitching. Can you believe there's actually room for improvement? If he locates that elevated fastball at the top of the zone and pairs it up with the off-speed and the split and that slider, he becomes virtually unhittable. And you would have to do what you just said, which is pick one. Don't try to cover the entire plate.
When we saw him in the mid-season, remember when he elevated his game as a pitcher, and I really thought, and we did top 10 right now, and we did pitcher, I thought a brave pick would be, right? You can't back it up except from what you're seeing and projecting, but you could say, Shohei Ohtani should be the #1 pitcher in the game. I mean, Corbin Burns was #1, and there's real competition at the top. But Verlander is getting older, Scherzer's getting older. There was an argument for it. Ohtani was 6th, by the way. But when you see him at his best, you start to think this is about the best guy in the game, pitching.
Him at his best, there's nobody any better. When he is at his best, you can take some guys and put them up there in that same category. There's not anybody who has a better fastball, a better slider, and a better split in the game. Those pitches are as good as anybody's across the board. And again, his command and game awareness, he's mature way beyond his years.
Yeah, that's we're doing a lot on this because it's a lot to digest.
It deserves a lot.
It deserves it.
Never
Remarkable.
happened. Ruth and Gehrig going to Japan and playing goes back to that. We've never seen anything
and
like
it goes
this.
back to your point of you're talking about how close the Japan League and we're seeing come together. This is the best player we've ever seen from there.
By the way, the future here, this is Rhett Bollinger putting this out. Shohei Ohtani's next start will come Friday in a minor league game to try to get him back in a controlled environment. Mike Trout, though, will go to Anaheim, won't play in any more Cactus League games, but will play in the Freeway Series against the Dodgers. So Trout kind of ratcheted back. Again, you got to control your adrenaline, right? And all these things and get ready for the regular season.